Welcome to another episode on the Productivity Channel, where you are the product and a better you is the solution. Today, I'm very pleased to have on Joan Kampo from Withum, Brown and Smith, better known as Withum. They are a fantastic accounting firm, and they're different, actually. And, if you go to their website, you'll see that the lead page is Managing Through Disruption. Withum is a forward-thinking, technology-driven advisory and accounting firm, helping clients to be in a position of strength in today's business landscape. Now, I have known of Withum for quite some time because I do study companies with good cultures. And Withum is noted for having actually a fantastic culture. They call it the Withum Way. They're very client-focused, but they live life passionately at Withum. They take care of clients with passion. They take care of one another with passion. They take care of the community with passion. They are a really, really good firm. And actually, if you're if you're trying to build your culture during a crisis because you didn't pay attention to it, you're finding out now the value of having a culture that works really well in good times and in bad. So I'm very pleased to have on Joan to share some of the things that are going on at Withum, because it continues to be a good culture, and that has helped them through this COVID period of disruption and allowed them to stay strong, and they're going to, emerge stronger out of this. So Joan, maybe you could take just a minute and introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure. Hi, good afternoon. Hello, everybody. I'm Joan Kampo. I'm the Director of Human Resources at Withum Smith & Brown, commonly known as Withum. I've been at the firm for 13 years, almost 13 years. It'll be 13 years in September. And I am, as I said, the Director of Human Resources, so I am involved in everything that relates to the talent of our firm. And culture, of course, is one of those things that I'm very actively involved in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, Joan, I think, people are going to really enjoy listening to how a good firm handles a crisis, because a lot of firms have struggled their way through this. And great culture start at the top. And I know Fred Withum, when the firm was founded in 1974, wanted to build a firm with a great culture from the very, very beginning. And, this time it's no different. Withum's leaders have stepped up to make sure that the people in the firm continue to trust the leadership, know that they're in really good hands. Maybe you could talk about how the leaders of the company set a really good tone right from the beginning as this crisis began to unfold.
Sure. So a little bit about the culture. As you said, Withum has been known for its culture. It was about, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago that we finally said, hey, everyone says we have this great culture. Well, what does that mean? And that's the time that we decided to actually put it in writing. And that's how we came up with the Withum Way. There are about 10 tenets of the Withum Way, and the firm does try to follow those in everything that we do. And actually, unfortunately, having to deal with this crisis that came upon us, it was a challenging time, but I, as you said, we've had this culture in place, and I really think that we were able to manage through it almost seamlessly. At the start of this thing, our management committee got together, so that's the senior leadership in the firm, but also myself, my manager, who is the chief talent officer, and she's also a partner and a director with the firm. We put our heads together to see, hey, what do we need to do? But the leadership, if there's a crisis or if there's an issue that needs to be addressed, they immediately come together. So it's definitely teamwork and many different people contributing at the same time. There is a culture of trust within the firm. The leaders trust one another. They've been working together for a while. Even those that are new to the firm through acquisitions or recently hired, there's definitely camaraderie amongst them. There's trust amongst them, and they're just very strong leaders in addressing what needs to be addressed, and not. I think many people were looking at this and saying, oh, this is going to be short term, or I hope this just goes away. We're not going to do anything about it. Let's just see what happens. And we didn't do that. We immediately came together. The leadership said, try to come up with different plans and such. And we came up with protocols and really just kind of all put our heads together.
Yeah, and I think one of the great things about your firm, because it is progressive culture-wise and wants people to actually, have a good experience at the firm. You've always been a company that favored very flexible work arrangements, so people could
Yes.
balance work and life. So tell me a little bit about, how that worked out.
So with regards to this COVID pandemic, it's worked out very well. The firm has always been flexible in terms of allowing people to work from home, whether it's a formal work arrangement, such as what we call an alternative work schedule, or
Mhm.
whether it's just flexing your time during the week because you might have a doctor's appointment or attend something for your child's school or something along those lines. So with that in mind, our leaders are very forward thinking and have always made sure that we had the technology to be able to provide that flexible work environment that I
Mhm.
just spoke of. So we all have this laptops, right?
Yep.
We all have the capability of working from home. So when this came upon us, we didn't really have to stretch very far to be able to provide an environment where people could work from home. We weren't struggling, we weren't scrambling at the last minute to find laptops for people
Yeah.
or anything like that. Because when you start day one with us, you get a laptop. And we have all the software and the capability for you to work from anywhere.
Yeah.
So
That's
it was
fantastic.
kind of seamless for us.
Yeah, I mean, really, you've embraced the whole notion of, lead from anywhere, work from anywhere, hire from anywhere. The reality is that is the new world of work.
It
And,
certainly is.
it has emerged, it was emerging. And I think, the Withum Way of that vision for growth and welcome innovation and change served you well at this moment in time, because that really helped put the technology platform in place that you needed, because you always wanted to be innovative and you were ahead of the curve. Is that correct?
That is correct. I always say we have cutting edge technology, which we do, and it is unusual, I think, for an accounting firm to be innovative. But innovation is very important to us. I mean, we have an innovation council
Mhm.
that looks at different things. We want people to think uh, entrepreneurially as well. So we encourage that, and I think because of the ability to innovate and actually keep ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
has really made us fare well during this time.
Yeah, which is fantastic. I had no doubt, actually, when this kicked off, that Witham would do very well, just because you are a progressive firm, and the people there are literally happy. The ones I've met, it's interesting, because when I look at accounting firms in general, I don't tend to run into people who are all that happy. So it's interesting, because you really are able to attract people. And I guess that you have another Witham tenet about being cooperative.
Yes.
And I could see that being valuable in this particular moment in time. So tell me a little bit about that. How did that help you?
Sure, absolutely. So as you mentioned, we, as you said, people are generally happy, right,
Yeah,
at our
for
firm.
real. Yeah,
We
for
so
real.
we try to hire individuals into the firm who are positive and who are cooperative. And if somebody doesn't really exhibit that, they usually don't stay long at our firm. So
Mhm.
that's the first thing. We hire and retain individuals who have that willingness to help, and that has certainly shown through during this whole thing. I myself have written articles for our clients. I'm
Yeah,
not usually involved in that, but I contribute in that way. But also, just everybody stepping forward and stepping up to identify, okay, what do we need to do? So, who can offer what assistance to whom? So whether it's, someone, all the information that's coming out with all the laws related to this, and you have individuals who they took the reins on that and just got all the information and
that's
provided and shared
fabulous.
that information with everybody. We also encouraged anyone who had anything relevant, to whether it's for our clients or for our team members, to share that information on coping with this whole thing. So we actually have 2 resource sites. We have an internal COVID-19 resource center for our team members, and we have an external one for our clients. And any of the information that people have contributed within the firm gets posted in all of these things. We also have cooperation in the firms of helping one another out and offering support. So we actually have 2 support groups that are going. And on Friday, we're launching them with a professional from our employee assistance program. So, that's one thing that we're also doing as well. But it's really a cooperative spirit, everybody working together, trying to just offer whatever assistance they can during this challenging time.
Yeah, it's fabulous. And you can't just create that when you need it. It's not something you turn on. It's something that exists within the culture. And the
Yes.
beauty of the fact that, there's a selection process in the culture, because it's such a strong part of your spirit, that people who aren't a cultural fit and like the "it's not my job" way of going about life in a company probably feel very uncomfortable and conclude they're not a cultural fit. And we all know some people, you need a hint or two along the way. But the reality is that, that means it really is a strong part of your DNA.
Yes, it certainly is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's great. And cooperation at a moment like this, boy, that just moves things along so much more smoothly. And you also cultivate open and honest relationships. And I can't say enough about openness, honesty, transparency. These things are always vitally important. And, if they don't exist, then people are very, very worried that maybe they're not getting all the facts. So at a time of crisis, that obviously would be very helpful, that people immediately feel comfortable that there's openness and transparency. So, how's that played out?
Yes, I mean, it's very important. That goes back to the trust factor too. But we think that cultivating open and honest relationships centers around communication.
Hmm.
So communication is very, very critical. So at the onset of this, our CEO sent out emails. Emails came from the talent department. We posted things in our Teams channel. So there was a lot of open communication about what's going on. If in office, for example, if there was the threat of exposure, an email would go out to that office and saying, hey, there's a possible exposure. Here are protocols. You're all working from home. We're cleaning the office. So we had everything in place to respond immediately to something like that. But the key thing is to communicate it to everybody so they know, first of all, to keep them informed as to what is going on, but also what the expectations are with regards to this, right? So if you feel ill, what is the expectation? Well, you're not to come into the office, okay? You need to let us know that you might have been exposed, or, whatever the case may be. Communication is key. So general emails relevant to specific situations in each of our offices, emails from our managing partner, emails from the talent management team, emails from our experts in the firm to help with client matters regarding this. So that was very important. I mentioned before about the COVID-19 resource centers that we launched. So we have those, one for our clients, which anybody, can access through our website. And then we have one internally where, emails that were sent out related to handling maybe the stress and anxiety related to this, tips, things that our insurance company sent us, we posted there. So it really, again, communication, and that was a central spot to locate it and ensure that people have easy access to it. The other thing that we communicated to our team members was about communication itself. And we understand and acknowledge that this is a very challenging time for everybody. And the key to managing through it is for you to be open and honest and communicate with your supervisors. So if you have young children at home and all of a sudden you find between the hours of, 10 and 2, you can't do anything. You just can't, right? Because your demands are elsewhere. You just need to communicate that with the individuals that you're working with so that they understand. And then finally, our CEO, our managing partner, has been putting on town halls. And during those town halls, he talks about how the firm is doing financially, whether we're facing any struggles. He provides reassurances
Hmm.
about layoffs, because you mentioned before about other accounting firms. You can see what other accounting firms have done. They've
Yes.
reduced staff, they've reduced salaries. We have done none of that. So he provides reassurances about the firm and that we're on solid footing, and what the firm is doing to ensure that we stay on solid footing during this time. Whatever steps have been taken financially or whatever, he shares that with everybody. So he's open about it. Again, open and honest communication. And so far, we've had 3 of those town halls, and
Hmm.
he does them like every other week and updates us on the status of the firm. How's productivity? How are our collections? All of that. So again, I think that, you cultivate these honest relationships, open and honest relationships all around or as a result of communication.
Yeah.
And, we've done a very strong job with that.
Yeah. And, building that level of trust within the firm that people can really trust the word of the CEO, that
Yes, that's very
that
important.
everybody's straight. I mean, that really enables people to, relax, focus on the job, and, really come out of this in a strong position. Because the
Yes.
sun always does come back out, and it's, how you handle the rainstorm that probably matters. And I love how Witham does kind of act like a family, and you guys always want to embrace the family spirit.
Yes.
And let's talk about that, because I think, the whole notion of reassuring everybody keeps the spirits up. You guys have managed to live it, and I think you've done extraordinarily well during a tough time. And this culture is really, showing its value. So tell me more.
Yeah, so yes, embrace the family spirit is one of the other tenets of the Withum Way. And it's very important to us you're at work most of your hours, your waking hours, right? If you think
Yeah.
about it. And accountants especially, because especially during tax season and various busy seasons throughout the year, there's a lot of hours that go into the job. So you are with these individuals who become your family, and we encourage that. So during non-pandemic times, there's a lot of interaction amongst everybody. There's, outings and Broadway shows and various firm events that we get together for. During this unusual time, it's tough, right? So you think about, how can you maintain the culture? How can you still embrace the family spirit when you're so removed from everything? So I think one of the things that we did was, I think the flexible nature of the firm helps contribute to your family life at home. As I mentioned before, if
Yes.
you have
Mhm.
young children at home, that perhaps you can't work during certain hours. So because we've always been okay with that, I think that people are able to manage a little bit better. That's not to say that people still aren't struggling, because it is a big challenge, especially if you're trying to help tutor your child,
Yeah.
right? And
Challenging.
stuff, or you're taking care of parents or something like that. It is still a challenge. So I think that the flexible nature of the firm lends itself well to the family structure regardless. And then, some of our offices are doing virtual happy hours. Our department just did one on Friday where Friday at 5 o'clock, we just hopped on Zoom and kind of just saw each other again.
Yeah.
Um, we hadn't seen, some of us are online all the time with each other, but others from other offices aren't. We also launched the 2 support groups that I mentioned. One is for individuals who have children, and then the other one is a
Yeah.
general support group, which is more of, hodgepodge, if you will, of things that people are facing. So we have those 2. But one of the things that I really like that we came up with, and that I enjoy looking at, is we came up with a program called Withum for Kids.
Yeah.
And we're encouraged, every week there's a new theme, and we encourage the children to get involved in coming up
Oh,
with
cool.
how they represent this theme. So this week, because was it last week? Yeah, last week it was Bring Your Child. It would have been Bring Your Child to Work Day.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
had a theme of the kids, decorating their parents' office. This week it's an Earth Day theme.
Oh,
You
nice.
know, and so it's great. So they can send in pictures, they can send in video, whatever it is, and we have 3 different age groups, and there's a winner in each age group, and we send them out a $46 Amazon gift card. I believe it's Amazon, because 46 years, it's that's how long Withum has been in business. We just had our 46th anniversary.
Yeah, yeah, fabulous.
Yeah, so that one's really fun. I got to be a judge 2 weeks ago on it, so that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed seeing all the little all the drawings and the creative ways, and it's a great way to integrate the family, because we know that they're there, right? And if a child sees their parents' door shut all the time, like, they know they're working, but this allows them to come in and be part
Yeah.
of it, you
And be
know?
part of it. Be welcome
Yeah.
and have the rest of the firm embrace the whole thing. I just think that's great. Over the years, companies would be so uptight about, meetings and making sure they're professional, and people wanted to make believe that their whole family life didn't exist if they were working from home.
Yeah, you
I think
didn't hear
that's
the
changed
dog
forever.
bark or the door slam or
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, so, I'm really happy that things have lightened up, and I think, you're leading the way, because that's really, really good, encouraging the kids to get involved, and that's great. Other companies should embrace similar practices, of course. And then not only do you want the kids to have some fun at home in the parent's office, you want them to live life passionately.
yes.
So I think that's a great note to end on, right? That, passion still exists. We're going to come out of this. And, in the meantime, people should be as passionate as possible, because it's part of the Witham Way. So continue to be passionate, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We encourage all of our team members to be passionate about something, whether it's a sport or a cause, volunteering their time somewhere. And it's been a little challenging during the pandemic to be able to do that, because everything is closed. Maybe
Yeah.
you want to go out and help at the animal shelter. Well, that's not really
Yeah.
available to you right now.
Tough.
Or maybe going to the food bank or a soup kitchen or something like that. So what our CEO encouraged was, you know if you're not able to do that, and most of us are saving a little bit of money, right, because we're not commuting, we're not going out as much, so maybe take that money and donate it. And he suggested one thing was, like, in the form of meals. He donated meals to the local hospital for
Hmm.
our frontline workers there.
Yeah.
And then we also have somebody who's very passionate about Zumba. So she's a Zumba instructor. So what she did, right, gyms are closed. So now she offered out her Zumba class to the entire firm. So
Wow.
on Thursday evenings, we can take part in Nicole's Zumba class. Um, you know, uh, I did it. I'm not going to say that I did it as well as she did, but I got
Yeah.
through it. It probably didn't look as pretty, but I
That's
enjoyed
great.
it. It was a great relief, right? It was a stress reliever as well. And she's so passionate about it and so enthusiastic, that it was great just doing that for a little while. So, those are some examples of people living their lives passionately, even through this very challenging
Yeah.
time.
And embracing the passion regardless of the circumstances. I think that's
Exactly.
great. And I don't have any statistics that would show that or prove right now that companies with great cultures are going to fare, much better going through these times than companies with bad cultures. But I'm certain that is the case.
Yeah, I believe
And
that too.
yeah, it's absolutely got to be the case, because, they fare better in general. And, good cultures always perform better in good times and bad. So, I think Witham has a lot to be proud of. I was very excited to get you on, because it
Thank
is a
you.
great firm. And I think, our hope is that other companies, will aspire to create great cultures so that the people in the company can really thrive together. Because that is the end goal, at least of our company, and it should be the end goal for all the companies. And the more they see examples of this, they'll begin to realize that caring about other people as human beings, recognizing their lives, and making sure that you have a culture that takes the full human into account is just super important. I think Witham, with its family spirit and the extended family with their clients, I mean, it's just it's a powerful message. So I don't know. Is there any parting words you want to share with any of our viewers?
No, I think it's never too late to start. I think there's going to be a lot of lessons learned from this situation. I'm hoping it never repeats itself again, but we don't
Makes
know.
two of us.
So as I said, it's never too late to start. So take a look at what you're doing. I would say after this is all said and done, assess what went well, what didn't go well,
Uh-huh.
and come up with a plan for addressing those things. And we talked about leadership at the beginning. Your leaders need to embrace that too, and be willing to act and be willing to implement programs so that you can make it a better place to work.
Yeah, and I think that is a great piece of parting advice that, you still have an opportunity to build a great culture, and everything that a firm has experienced that didn't go well out there, they could take that down, take your advice, and figure out how to address those. Because hopefully this black swan never shows up again. But from time
Yes.
to time, there are
Yeah.
different things that happen that cause companies to have to face some kind of disruption. So all the
Yes.
better to be prepared with a great culture. Joan, thank you so much for coming on. It was wonderful,
Well, you're
and
welcome. Thank you for having me.
appreciate you sharing so much. And the good news is, you companies out there can build a great culture too. Thank you all.